Number 1. The Duke of Middlethrope. The Duke of Middlethrope was introduced as a close friend of Simon's father, the late Duke of Hastings, in the book Duke and I. According to the book, Simon's father made the Duke of Middlethrope in charge of some letters he wrote to Simon. The Duke of Middlethrope's responsibility was to pass down these letters to Simon. However, he approached Simon on an occasion where he was in conversation with Daphne, but much to Duke of Middlethrope's surprise, Simon was not interested in the letters at all. Therefore the Duke has no choice but to put Daphne in charge of the letters, because the Duke himself was worried about his health and would face death before he could pass down the letters to Simon. Daphne, however, became skeptical about taking of those letters at first, but Duke of Middlethrope convinced her somehow. Regarding the letters, Daphne later revealed to Simon that she in fact has those letters with her, but Simon was not ready to go through them. In the series, the Duke of Middlethrope was introduced as a suitor to Miss Marina Thompson by Lady Featherington. However, this introduction was brief, and clearly Marina did not enjoy his company. Number 2. Daphne's confrontation of Simon. Daphne Bridgerton, who is unaware of the marital act as most of the debutantes in that era, got to know her husband is actually able to have children, but not willing to have, because his grudges against his father. Daphne guessed that, while rethinking of a conversation she had with the housekeeper of Cliveden, Mrs. Coulson. Unlike in the series, Daphne didn't keep that to herself, rather confronted Simon with her theory. Both were angry and sad at the same time, but none of them were willing to take a defeat. Therefore Daphne changed her bed chamber, which made Simon furious. He went out and got drunk. After returning to Cliveden in his drunk state is where Daphne took him to bed and made her plan work, just as we seen in the series. Number 3. Simon left Daphne in Cliveden. After Daphne's attempt to conceive a child, Simon left her in Cliveden, of her own according to the book version. So then, Daphne decided to visit London to be with her family. However, upon arriving to the Bridgerton residence, she had change of heart and advised the carriage driver to drop her at the Hastings residence in London. Her arrival made a lots of gossips as it's her first time arrival to London after the marriage, and that too without her husband. The Bridgertons were so curious about her arrival, and her mother, 3 elder brothers came to question her arrival. Daphne somehow made sure they received no evidence of her condition, and asked them to not to barging in her life. Number 4. Daphne informs Simon about their child. In the series, Simon and Daphne both were watching opera when Daphne finds out that she is not with child. As for the book version, Daphne, who was in London, thought she is with child as her periods got delayed. While she was writing a letter to the Duke, her eldest brother Anthony came and offered to deliver the letter in order to get to know her situation. Daphne being cleverer and asked Anthony to promise that he won't read the letter. Anthony pay a visit Simon in one of his estates, and Simon came back to London to deal with the new situation. However, Daphne was nowhere to be found, as he visited both Bridgerton and Hastings residences. Daphne, on the other hand, realized she is not with child after she sent her letter to Simon, took a horse and went riding to calm her mind. She fell off from the horse. By the time she was fined by Simon, and then only Simon knew Daphne and Simon are not going to be parents. Number 5. Lady Whistledown's identity. Just like all in Mayfair, everyone is eager to know the true identity of Lady Whistledown. In the first season of the Bridgerton, the audience had the fancy of knowing the identity as the show unmasked the author, as Penelope Featherington in the end. However, it is still a mystery to the ton in London and, more importantly, to the Queen and Eloise Bridgerton, who is on a mission to find this secret author. As Duke and I goes, the identity of Lady Whistledown is not revealed to the readers, but the readers got to know she is a young girl through this. So we have come to an end with Duke and I, the first book of Bridgerton series. Hope to see you all with second book The Viscount Who Loved Me.